to take a moment to talk about what I think were three of the core themes or messages that at least felt really important and resonant for me throughout both services, even though both services today did have sort of a different flavor, each one. The first was to remind you, us, each other, to remember the power, the importance, and the sacred nature of mystery. Now, it's really only in the last, I'd say, 200 years that any society, and in particular modern Western society, has prided itself upon control and prediction and a lack of mystery. In fact, I'd say over the last 100 years, we've kind of come to see not knowing as a weakness. We see mystery as the enemy, right? So when it comes to healthcare, everything is supposed to be evidence-based. When we look at some of the major influences of psychology, even in the last several decades, we have a huge focus on behavior, a huge focus on research psychology, and so much of what has become mainstream thought and industry, business, leadership, and so on, has developed on the premise that excellence comes from control and the mastery of knowledge. I mean, really, you only need to scroll the internet right now or Instagram or whatever social media you like, and you'll see there's still a predominant focus on mastery, right? Master classes. Anyone can know how to be anything. Anyone can be the best at everything. And the strange thing about that is quite frankly, not only is it not true, sorry to tell you, no, I don't believe any amount of praying is going to make me a better basketball player than I am. Practice would help, but I'll tell you, I like basketball. I don't have the coordination required, and I just think that's neurological, and I take no offense from that. Playing the piano with two hands, I tried, and I tried. But, my brain is wired for other things. I have gifts of intuition and art and creativity, things that grant me dyslexia and an inability to do a lot of things ambidextrally. It's not a problem. It's not a failure. So the point is that we've got to remember in this moment of incredible uncertainty that uncertainty is not a failure. Uncertainty is not a terrible thing. You've been coached and guided and conditioned all your life to rule out mystery. But mystery is where we come from. Mystery is something that the greatest minds are willing and able to hold as they explore and create. Mystery is essential to everything that is healing, helpful, hopeful, and nourishing in our lives. We must create space for the unknown in our relationships, in our wellness, in our work, in our government, in all levels and aspects of life and society. Mystery is the foundation of life. We still really, really have no idea where we come from or where we're going. And no amount of religion or science will ever explain it away, because no matter what you come up with, if mystery isn't the beginning, something will precede what you think. It's as simple as that. And so, as we are thrust into this time of great uncertainty, which we are talking about like victims, right? Uncertainty, the pain of uncertainty, the trauma of uncertainty, we must remember that for the majority of human history, our ancestors accepted mystery. They took mystery as a prior condition to life. They simply assumed that no matter what we knew, what we know, or what we can conquer, there will always be something mysterious that is greater than us. And it is a blessing, a miracle, an honor, a privilege to participate in that mystery. So I encourage you to start thinking differently about these times of change and uncertainty and see them as a time of mystery. Mystery is the first face of spirit. So let's not be so afraid or ashamed that that is the story of the day. The next principle that I thought was really important to talk about had to do with something that blossoms out of the conversation about mystery. And that is to look at the antithesis of the embrace of mystery is really the drive towards control. And I'd see that has been a huge hallmark of modern society. We seek power over illness, power over addiction, power over our opponents, power over other countries. And the consciousness of power over is quite simply not in alignment with the nature of things. Now, you can look at that metaphysically, spiritually, or simply biologically. In the environmental world, cooperation and the sharing of power is how systems flourish. This has long been proven, and in fact, when you even go back to what became the distorted roots of the kind of free market, self-righteous, independent societies of today, the survival of the fittest theories and writings by Darwin and others actually didn't say that conquest and competition is the primary driving force in nature. That was sort of picked out by those who felt that that vision served their reality. In fact, what we discover is that human beings, generally speaking, are willing to embrace something better as soon as they understand it a little more. Once they get over their fear and once they can overcome that sort of uncertainty, most people are simply willing to do the better thing. Now, I apologize because I'm going to make a reference that I can't quote, but there's a book out, still in hardcover, called Humankind. I completely forgot the name of the author, but the whole premise of this carefully researched book is that if we look at human history, what we see is far, far more evidence for the idea that when we share power, we come into alignment with society, with self, and harmony with the natural world. In fact, to share power is the only way to become more powerful. We also see evidence for the contrary, which is to say that the more any individual seeks power, tries to claim power or use power over others, the more certain that their tenure, their system, their longevity will be short. The last thing that I wanted to highlight that we talked about is to acknowledge that while it's easy to say, let's embrace mystery and see times of uncertainty as something possibly even to celebrate or to contemplate, we can't forget that embracing the present moment is not just a cliche, it is a rigorous and essential tool, a path, a practice, if you will, that carries us through times of uncertainty and mystery, perhaps more than anything else. To simply commit yourself to being in the consciousness of curiosity, of witness, of sensing, of being okay with not knowing, and allowing the humility that emerges to open our hearts to the vulnerability that actually brings our greatest security and innovation possible. So these were some of the things that did come up in our conversations today. And if the camera broke down before you got anything out of it, I wanted to make sure I'd sent this little message so that we can share it, we can boost it, we can put it in our newsletter, and you'll know that we're working on finding the balance between in-person gatherings and online gatherings, that Althea is committed to growing, to remaining strong, and to being that sacred home for the vision of oneness and humility that the world, I think, really, really needs today. So, that's my 2 cents for now. Thank you to the people that actually did join me live. That was cool. Nice to see you out there. Joanne, nice to see you. It's been a very long time since we've seen each other in person, but I'm glad you're still out there. And to whoever else is present, thank you for the moral support. And I hope this was helpful. And again, please look forward to what's coming up from Althea in the days to come. There's lots of good things underway, and we will face, embrace, and rise through this mystery together. That's all for now. Lots of love. Bye-bye.